1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
I remember in high school, they called us the Hoosier Story. I learned about the movie and that it was filmed here in Knightstown, Indiana. Stop. And I just said, we gotta go. We gotta go see that place. We gotta go share the story of the Ellsworth Panthers from right there.
Hi, welcome to the Hoosier Gym. Glad you guys could stop here today and visit us in Knightstown, Indiana. I understand you're from Ellsworth, Minnesota, and you guys have your own story of a run back in the day with a small team that won the state championship. I'll be glad to give you a tour of the gym and everything. Why don't you put these on when we go out on the gym floor? Those Chuck Taylors are what they wore out here back in 1954.
Ready for game time here.
Well, this is where the movie Hoosiers was shot. This is now a registered historical site in the state of Indiana. Our goal is to probably keep everything pretty much the way it was back in the day. The gym itself was originally built in 1921. In 1936, that's when the gym was upgraded. And when I say upgraded, that's when varsity basketball in Indiana kind of took off, and Knightstown needed a gym to host games here. The old wood bleachers that used to be here that came down farther on the floor were taken out, and these bleachers that were here now and which were in the film were put up with a solid facing wall, so we would now have a regulation width court, 50-foot width. The old wood backboards and rims that were up here, those had to be replaced because we host high school games here now. So the Hoosier Gym is very much used today. It's just not sitting here idle. The floor that you're standing on here was also put down in 1936. So this floor is made out of tiger maple, these thin maple wood planks, which you don't see anymore.
Still bounces all right.
It still bounces right, and has a very unique sound to it that you won't hear in the gyms that you see built today. This was Knightstown High School's varsity gym until 1966. So up until that time, this is where all their varsity games were played. 1985 came along, and the movie Hoosiers.
Gene Hackman, Barbara Hershey, Dennis Hopper, Hoosiers. It'll go straight to your heart.
When they originally were filming Hoosiers, they tried to stay within a 50-mile radius of Indianapolis. When David Anspaugh had the opportunity, when he walked in here, he said, you know what, I think this will be Hickory's gym for the movie.
Now the Hickory Huskers, that's a made-up team.
There is no Hickory, Indiana. There was no Hickory Huskers, but Angelo Pizzo, who wrote the film score, wanted to pick something that had a rural connotation to it that reflected rural Indiana, and that's where he came up with Hickory and the Huskers being corn, you know, which there's a lot of that in Indiana.
And a lot where we're from too.
Okay, yeah.
It's all right, you're out of sight, and the weather cute.
The movie Hoosiers was not meant to be a documentary based on the storyline of what happened in Indiana in 1954 when a team from Milan, Indiana won the state championship, and they accomplished what basically hasn't been done since then. As you watch that film, as you watch Gene Hackman driving the 51 Chevy supposedly to Hickory for the first time, and it still gets to me, it's like, yep, that's rural Indiana, and that's the way it was back in the 50s when, you know, all this supposedly took place.
Hoosier Gym wants everyone to enjoy this experience.
We can seat around 600 people in here for ball games, same as it was back in the day. We actually play the score to the movie over our PA system, so when they're coming in to sit down for the first time, take it in, folks. You know, this is it. This is the real deal. There's nothing built in Hollywood to look like this. This was the set. Were a lot of gyms built with this type of architecture in communities back in the late 30s, early 40s. They needed a place for people to come together and watch basketball and everything. And hopefully today, with the high school games we host here, we get between 60 and 70,000 people in here a year. So the Hoosier Gym is by no means sitting here gathering dust. We're so thankful the number of people that want to come here and visit, and the high schools that want to come here and play.
You got too much soul.
I never know who's going to walk through that door, where they're from, and they're from all over the country, all over the world. Just to see that joy and what it means to people to come see it and so forth, that's the reward. The team photo that you see down there hanging above the door, that is the actual photo that you saw at the end of the film. Just one of the things that are original from the movie that we're thankful to have. So when people come here, they can say, oh, wow, yeah, I remember that.
A lot of people come get the tour, they come to see this place, and then where else do we go from here?
I'd be glad to show you the locker room that was used in the film. Now, the first game that Hickory played in this gym that you saw in the movie, this was the door that was closed when Gene Hackman came up from the locker room. Hey! You see him stand here, adjust his tie, and say, "Welcome to Indiana basketball." I'm Bill, and welcome to the Indiana basketball game. I'm not quite as iconic as Gene Hackman, but that's what happened.
You got a role in our movie.
Yeah. Yeah, this was part of the original gym built in 1921, so this is over 100 years old down here. The players that you saw play Hickory Huskers in the film, all of those kids played basketball in Indiana. They were not actors, except for Shooter's son, David Neidorf. He was an actor. Wade Schenck, who played Ollie, was probably the best natural player of the Hickory Huskers from the film. He played for a real small high school down in southern Indiana. Made him out in the film to just look like the team manager / sixth man on the team, but he was actually the best player of all those guys that were Hickory Huskers in the film. It's a tradition when teams come here and play to leave a jersey and the kids sign it. And that way, if they come back, and a lot of teams try to come back every 2 years, every 4 years, they can see who played here before them.
Wow, so not just Indiana.
Oh, no. Majority of our games that we have here during the basketball season are from out-of-state teams. I can tell you this, when we have good crowds here on a Saturday night, there's no place I'd rather be. And these plaques you see hanging on the wall here, we host a boys and girls all-star game here. We try to recruit some of the best players in Indiana that are graduating that spring.
Eric Gordon, Wiseman, Jeff Teague, those are NBA players.
Yeah, exactly. We've had, I think, close to 25 girls and boys that went on to the NBA that played in our all-star game here when they were leaving Indiana.
I can't believe that.
It's high school days.
Greg Oden.
Yeah, Greg Oden and Michael Conley.
Mike Conley.
1, 2, 3, good love.
Well, Bill, what a day, what a place.
I'm glad I had a chance to share it with you. Please take all this back home and share it with your folks back in Minnesota.
Tell them about you, and
okay.
Hopefully we'll get a few of them coming your way.
Great. Thanks again for coming.
I asked my family doctor just what
Got a
I
wrap?
read.
Wrap on that part.
I said, doctor, Mr. Eddie.
We jumped on a plane and made it all the way to Indianapolis. Came over to Knightstown, Indiana, home of the Hickory Huskers.
Yeah.
A hometown pride story, a Hoosier story that isn't just Indiana's. It's shared with any small town basketball team that defies the odds and does something incredible. We got to go on a tour with Bill. We got to meet amazing people along the way. Bill's a volunteer here who just loves sharing this gym and sharing this story, and he gets to hear stories of all sorts of teams. Teams like Ellsworth. This place it's got a legacy to it. A story that's shared, the story of the underdog, of the Cinderella, a Hoosier story. I actually like that it's not a real story. It's made up for Hollywood, but it was based on a real story. A real story that happens all the time, all over the country. It's a story that people get so excited. They say, this is a Hoosier story. And Ellsworth is just another one. And when we think about that, when we try to explain that, dust off the trophies and bring out the scrapbooks and pull out some videos and you ask people who got to experience it, what was that like? It was hometown pride. And that doesn't go away.
Could this be a fairy tale finish? Over 1,000 Ellsworth fans here.
We thought this game was over, but this is a new Ellsworth team.
1999, Ellsworth was nobody.
So you're off to a great start. So you guys thinking maybe state championship?
We don't care about the stats. We play as a team and we want to win.
If there was ever a team hungry to get back here, it's Ellsworth.
He made the shot. It's history.
For the three! Yes, sir! Ellsworth has won the state title! There's the entire city of Ellsworth and then some.
And this is the part of the video that we cut to just me hitting shots. And when your brother's the editor, it's like everything goes in. Splash!